I woke up one day and realized this is the rest of my life, assuming I live to the average lifespan of 78. And this is how many hours I spent on my phone a day last week. So I'm set to lose 16 years of my life to my phone. Okay, maybe we don't need all of these years back. The average American is losing 2.5 months a year to their phones.
Turns out that only 10% of the time that you check your phone, 10% of the time, is it because of one of these ping, ding, or rings.
And I know big tech has hacked my brain to make my phone super addictive. But how? How does the hack actually work, and why does it get stronger every year? Because if I can figure it out, I might win all those years back. Now that our dramatic intro is over, the answer to our question starts at Stanford.
Stanford University, a school I can never get into but can pretend to be at for a YouTube video. It may not seem like it, but this is actually a very strange class. It's not a computer science class or even a business or entrepreneurship class, and yet the students in this class turned their homework into 7-figure startups. God, I should have paid attention more. Also, some of these students went on to become the head of growth at Facebook, co-found Instagram, and work at dozens of companies like Uber and Google. That makes our professor, BJ Fogg, one of the most pivotal people in Silicon Valley that no one's ever heard of. And yeah, that's his name, BJ. If you think that's funny, then you have the sense of humor of an 11-year-old. Even though BJ Fogg is teaching his students to make apps, he's actually not a computer programmer, but a psychologist. And he was one of the first people to figure out how your phone can use bait to hook a user in. And today he's going to teach all of us how to masturbate. See, you might have heard that your phone is engineered like a slot machine.
But this is a massive oversimplification and not a good enough answer for me.
It's not gambling when you know you're going to win.
Why are casinos addicting? At least with heroin, you're getting hella high, I'm told. With casinos, more often than not, you're losing. Some go into debt. Is losing fun?
Great question. See, for decades, social scientists actually didn't fully understand what made casinos so addicting, but that all changed after psychologist B.F. Skinner.
Shreyas, my star student. Who are you talking to?
It's no one, I'm sorry, it's just nothing. Yeah, I make him call me his star student, it's my video, okay? Deal with it. Just go to the next cutaway.
B.F. Skinner believed human behavior could be shaped through positive or negative reinforcement, and proved this through an experiment where rats could pull a lever. Surely enough, they would keep pulling the lever and keep getting the reward. They were hooked. This is how addiction works, we all nod in agreement. Nope, because there were some rats who would pull the levers obsessively, constantly, insatiably. The only difference, their levers were basically broken. They didn't get rewards every time they pulled the lever. Instead, they got it randomly. This was called a variable ratio schedule, and B.F. Skinner concluded that this causes rats and people to develop behaviors that are, quote, hard to extinguish. Basically, habits that do not stop. So now we understand casinos, kinda, and our phones a little better. Less reward equals more addicting? Not quite.
This research serves as one of the foundations to BJ Fogg's claim to fame. He invented the Fogg behavioral model, and I'll just let him explain it.
Basically, for an app to compel you to do something, there's 3 components, all right? First, motivation. It has to motivate you to complete the action. Secondly, it has to ensure you have the ability to complete the action. And thirdly, it has to prompt you to complete the action. Now, for an action that is hard to do, such as learning a language, the app has to motivate you more. Right? And that can come in the form of games or prizes. But for an action that's simple, such as checking text messages, right? Very easy to do. You might already be motivated to do it, so the app doesn't have to do much prompting. So a simple buzz or text is good enough. But motivation is tricky. Yeah? How can an app motivate us to do something? Yeah? It's not like Instagram is giving me a pep talk every night to continue doom scrolling. I do that on my own. Right? Apps use this thing called dopamine.
If dopamine makes something more addictive, then how come variable rewards, aka rewards that happen less often, how come they're more addictive?
That is actually an excellent question. How can something be more addictive if users are getting less rewards, aka less dopamine? I know who knows the answer. Shreyas. Oh, you're getting an A, buddy, and your parents are gonna call you. They're so proud of you. And you're perfect.
Okay, I know, I have a problem. So to answer this question about how less dopamine can be more addicting, let's talk about Wolfram Schultz.
See, Shreyas, a common misconception is that dopamine is tied to only a reward, and that is not true. Watch this. Hello, I am Dr. Wolfram Schultz. It is nice to meet you. All right, now, observe as I ring the bell. When I ring the bell, I give the monkey some juice. Okay, that is enough. No, enough. I did the bell ringing and the juice giving many times. Look, we are tracking the monkey's brain, and the dopamine spikes when I ring the bell, not when I give the juice. But if I do not give him the juice, his dopamine levels drop below normal. No, calm down. This is okay. We try one more time. Here, see? His dopamine spikes, and then it falls. As he realizes that the reward will not come. It will never come. He will be left without it for eternity. However, it's okay. He will learn to live with this reality. I can even tease him a little bit with the juice. No, you do not get the juice. Oh, no. Bad boy. My research breaks a very common misnomer. Dopamine is tied to the trigger or the cue, not to the reward. Not?
Thank you, Dr. Schultz. So as we learned from B.F. Skinner's work, it's variable reward or inconsistent reward that is more addicting than getting more reward. And what we learned from Wolfram Schultz's work is that this actually makes sense because when you don't get the reward after the trigger that we saw in the rat experiment, your dopamine goes below average, meaning that you desire the next trigger or cue that a reward is going to come. And Wolfram Schultz's research was groundbreaking for the industry in helping us understand that it is anticipation for reward. That is what we are addicted to, the anticipation, not the reward itself. It's the same reason why a gambler walks into a casino every day for the chance to win $1 million, the chance to change his life. It is the anticipation that he's hooked to, not the reward itself. And I think the same thing is true for our phones. Oh no, my data got stolen. In our super digital world, mega breaches of our personal information can happen all the time. And that means people on the internet could find your social security number or worse, your search history. And that's why I trust today's sponsor, Incogni, to keep my personal information safe. Incogni tracks down and removes your personal data from things like personal directories, people's search sites, and even commercial databases. There's databases full of our information. What? We can't even imagine where our data could be, but we don't need to know because Incogni's team does a thorough sweep of the entire internet. It is so easy to not take this seriously until something bad happens to you. Like, I once had some stranger take out a loan in my name to buy a giant oil painting of Andrew Garfield and put it up in my bedroom so that I could look at it every time I go to sleep. Who would do that to me? And if you find a website that has personal information about you, then Incogni's new feature, Custom Removals, can help take care of it for you on many eligible links. Go to the link in our description right now and get started.
See, we think it's the posts on Instagram that hook us, the posts that make us laugh or that enrage us, but that's actually just half of it. The other half are things like infinite scroll, the refresh, things that keep us in anticipation that reward might come. Something sometimes as simple as a buzz or a ding. In fact, as some experts point out, because the barrier to access our phone is so low, we can do it at any moment, we're basically in a constant state of anticipation.
I'm in a constant state of anticipation of you letting me sit at the dining hall with you. My girlfriend's asking what you're doing on Valentine's Day.
So to better understand how to unhack my brain, I'm about to go talk to an actual former BJ Fogg student named Nir Eyal, who went on to author the book Indistractable, which is about how to control your attention. But before I go, I should say that BJ Fogg actually always had a very optimistic view of how merging psychology and technology could impact people. He had a vision of a world where we could use SMS text to help people get off cigarettes. But once he realized what happened once this genie was out of the bottle, he became one of our foremost experts in warning people about big tech and what it was trying to do to our attention. Fogg's class is by no means a nexus that caused big tech to use psychology. It's very much just an example of a broader trend that was happening at that time. And Nir Eyal had a front row seat to watch it happen.
How did our phones get so good at hacking our brains?
This video that we're recording right now, where is it going?
YouTube.com.
Yeah. And so when you want lots of people to view this video, how do you make a good video? What's the most important thing to making a good video?
Story.
Story. Why is story the most important thing?
You want to talk about something that people find really interesting, that compels them to watch the video and stay for the whole video until the end.
That's your answer. Does the media tell us what's most important in our lives? No. They tell us what's scary, what's exciting, what's interesting, what's weird, what's different. That's what they tell us. They don't tell us thousands of flights didn't crash today. They tell us about the one that had some terrible disaster that we're all scared of, because that's different. That's something you don't expect. It's called a pattern interrupt. So what all media does is incorporate some kind of variable reward, whether it's social media, whether it's gambling, whether it's the news, whether it's this very video you're watching right now. You want to know, what am I going to say next? Is it what I expect? Nah, I'm not going to watch that. I want something different, exciting, controversial. I want a hot take. The media business, the business you are in, is about turning eyeballs into cash. That's what you do for a living. You're the pot calling the kettle black. This is your business. You're a drug dealer, right?
Oh,
This made me ponder, was I the problem? I mean, my videos got hundreds, if not tens of views. There's people out there who missed important moments of their life because they were staring at my videos all day. Was I really the kettle calling the pot African American? Instead of just blaming this technology and hoping our overlords would fix it, maybe I had to start with fixing myself.
So the first step is to understand what is the difference between distraction and traction. Those are opposites, traction and distraction. Traction is anything that you say you're going to do. It's whether that's going on a walk or meditating or checking your phone or doing homework, doesn't matter. Anything you say you're going to do in advance is traction. Everything else is distraction. Then we have to understand our triggers. What are our internal triggers and our external triggers? It turns out that only 10% of the time that you check your phone, 10% of the time is it because of one of these ping, ding, or rings, right? These are called external triggers, 10%. The other 90% of the time that we check our phone, 90% is not about the stuff happening outside of us. It's about what's happening inside of us. These are called internal triggers. And if we don't understand why these internal triggers are the source of 90% of our distractions, we can't do anything about them. So what are internal triggers? They are uncomfortable feelings. They are boredom, loneliness, fatigue, uncertainty, anxiety. If you don't understand the source of that distraction, you will always be distracted by one thing or another. So that's the most important thing, is to master those internal triggers. Have tools ready to go so that when you feel boredom, when you feel uncertainty, when you feel loneliness, you don't impulsively check. You do something that's healthy and helpful rather than hurtful.
got it. I tried doing this thing where I put a stack of sticky notes on my phone, so before I used it, I had to write down what I was going to use it for. Does stuff like that really work? Have you tried something like that?
I'll tell you about an effort pack that I did. Is it okay if we get a little personal here?
Yeah, of course.
I noticed when I was writing Indistractable that my sex life was really suffering, because every night I was caressing my iPad and my wife was fondling her iPhone and we weren't being intimate.
Been there. Not with your wife, just in general. Also not in general. What were you saying?
In the research for my book, I came across these effort packs and I decided to adopt one. So what did I do? I went to the hardware store and I bought us this $6 outlet timer. And this outlet timer, you can program to turn on or off whatever's plugged into it at a certain time of day or night. So in my household, every night, 10 p.m., the internet shuts off. Now, could I turn it back on? Of course I could. But now I have to get under my desk and I have to unplug and replug, or I have to change my Wi-Fi settings. It's like a big old mess. And so I don't do it because I put a bit of friction in between something that I don't want to do. I don't want to keep scrolling. I don't want to keep, checking email and all that other stuff. I want to get to bed on time so I can get proper rest and maybe be intimate with my wife.
Hell yeah.
So that's an example of an effort pact. But it only works because I did the other 3 steps first. Mastered internal triggers, made time for traction, right? I have a bedtime now. Hack back the external triggers. All the devices are charging outside. And then finally, the 4th and final step, that can be making one of these effort pacts.
And I think Nir Eyal's right. I can't wait for big tech or the government to solve this for me today. How am I supposed to master the internal triggers? What if I didn't use my phone and just sat with my feelings for a day? I woke up late for work and couldn't even get into my office. And missed an urgent text from my mom. Okay, phones are way too entrenched in our life for that to be practical. Okay, it. Fine. I'll master the internal triggers. What am I really feeling right now? Kinda hungry? What if someone needs me? No. Why did I think that painting was nice? Am I a moron? Okay, this is unproductive. Sitting here in silence, I could respond to an email. Did I get an email? Fuck, what if it's a really important email? Emails are my heroin. I realized my biggest anxiety was that I feared missing out on the news, on a text, on a work email.
When I'm writing, I implement what's called the 10-minute rule. The 10-minute rule says that you can give in to any distraction, right? I can go check sports scores, I can check stock prices, I can check my email, I can check that stuff. Not right now, okay? I'm gonna check it in 10 minutes. That's the whole idea, that you're gonna delay that gratification. You're not saying no, because we know that saying no actually backfires. So what you're saying instead of no is not yet.
I started noticing that the 10-minute rule worked immediately. My screen time went down, kinda, because I started training my brain into realizing I could go without checking my phone for 10 minutes and nothing in my life was falling apart. This is only the start of my journey. I know so much more about how my phone captures my attention, and that I should be focusing on those internal triggers that gravitate me towards my phone. Understanding how phones are able to take advantage of my brain has helped me be so much more conscious in those mindless moments with my phone, and now I feel like I notice everything. Like nothing really gets past me. It's like I have spidey senses or something.